These officials put kids' lives in danger to protect what exactly? We don't know. Any kid in those schools could tell you that men and women are not the same. Just like they could tell you this cat lady isn't a cat.
I am a cat. Meow, meow. I'm not a woman dressed as a cat. I am a cat. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe and confess that I'm a cat? Great. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe that your child or a child from this school would believe that I'm actually a cat? No one. You are right. Truth prevails over imagination. Reality exists. Discernment is innate and something we are biologically wired to have. One look at me and you know this to be true. I am a woman posing as a cat.
Lindsey Graham, the cat lady herself and host of the Patriot Barbie podcast, joins me now. So, Lindsey, what was actually happening at this school district that made you have to dress up as a cat to prove your point?
Well, first of all, Jesse, I'd like you to not misspecies me. I'd like to be addressed as a cat for the entirety of this video, of course.
Of course.
So
I apologize.
This was in my... Thank you. Thank you. Just inclusivity is all I ask, you know. This was a local school in my neighborhood where there was a member of the school board whose name is Paul Bixler. He is a man. He's very clearly a man. And the only thing he does to identify as a female is put lipstick on. He grew his hair out a little bit, and he wears his deceased wife's clothing to school, to sporting events, to fundraisers, to school events in front of the children. And believe it or not, he actually demands on being identified one of two ways, either Paul, which is a man's name, of course, or Miss Bixler. So it's very clear that he has a gender identity crisis. And not only does he appear in front of the children and insist that the children, you know, define him as a woman, but he sits on the board and he's making decisions for these children. And the point that I was trying to make as a cat was that, I mean, obviously, you can't just identify as whatever you want, and you can't demand that other people identify you as whatever you want. But someone with this kind of mental illness can enjoy that mental illness all they want in the comfort of their own home. But when you put them in charge of children, we're talking about a new type of indoctrination. And that's what's really terrifying, is seeing these people in charge of our kids' education.
Yeah, if he has to grieve over his dead wife, he can grieve privately, but wearing his deceased wife's dress and putting on lipstick and growing your hair out and insisting you're a woman in front of, what grade is this precisely? This
is elementary school. So these are young, vulnerable minds. And the teachers, the rest of the school board are identifying him as mixed while he's talking in just the deepest manly voice that he was born with. And so to see these parents and these adults take no responsibility for the education of these kids and to teach them true right and wrong and true biology and true facts and science and truths is just so alarming that we have this in the school system.
Real quick, when you did this at this hearing, did people understand? How did they react?
This is a great story, actually. The next day at the gym, I saw one of the members of the school board, and he looked at me a little odd. I said, "I'm sure you don't want to remember who I am." And he said, "The cat." And I thought he would proceed to chew me out. And he said, "You know what? Thank you so much for getting up there and saying what you said. Thank you for being bold enough to speak truth. I've been fighting this agenda. I've been fighting this teacher and this school board member. There are people on our side, and all it takes is just a few of us to stand up and speak truth and find those partners in crime, if you will, and then we really can unite together and fight back against this and save our children."
What kind of exercises does a cat do at the gym?
Oh, you know, gosh, there's got to be something zingy I can say here. Lots of squats, litter box press, kitty nip presses, you know.
All right, meow, meow. Thank you very much, Lindsey
Meow, meow,
Graham.
indeed.